These buds have supreme call quality, but sadly they are not for audiophiles. Hi there, I'm David, your favorite Dijuati, and in this video I'm going to talk about the Oraimo Freepods 3, the 2BABA edition. So without taking any more time, let's get into it. First of all, I'll start with the unboxing. Okay, so here's the box, and then the details of everything is here. Awareness and base mode. We will look out for this, and then let's open it up. Okay, first of all, I love the unboxing. They still went with this book style unboxing. I actually still like it, but even if it's just one page, it's still good. I still love it. Then keep exploring text almost everywhere, and then the first thing you see are the buds themselves. Oraimo Freepods 3. Taking them out, and then you have this nylon film that's protecting it. You can take it off like this, but then I just like slide it off by the side. It's comfortable for me. Other than that, in the box, you have to pull up like this to access the other things in the box. So first of all, you have your ear tips in this bag here, and then you have the manual. Okay, so that's basically it for the unboxing. Okay, so now let's get to the main event, the buds, the actual buds themselves. Okay, so this is the case of the Oraimo Freepods 3 buds, 2BABA edition. You can see the text here, 2BABA, one love. The case isn't too big. I love the way it fits in my hand, the way it feels in my hand, and then the way it just slides into my pocket. Oraimo is taking to this vertical look, and then this time they did better than the Freepods 2. This is bigger and has the look of a pebble, which is actually very ergonomic. And like I mentioned before, I love the feel in my hand. It is very comfortable to hold. The battery life is said to be slightly increased, but then I didn't really notice the difference. It still feels like the same, and it is still a good battery life. It charges the USB Type-C port, and then you have a USB Type-A to C cable. I did not mention that before, but you have a USB Type-A to C cable to charge these buds. It takes about an hour and a half to charge from 0 to 100%, and that's it. That's all about the case. It's still the same basic thing. You open it, it has the click. Once you open it, it connects to the nearest device. It still has a satisfying click. And then here are the Freepods 3. This is the Freepods 3. It actually looks really nice, but then there's actually something quite interesting about it. You can take off the ear tips and then just be fine, but then I'll get into that later. Okay, so now the Freepods 3. The Freepods 3 have a smaller footprint than that of the Freepods 2 with a shorter tail than the other, and then the only difference is the gold plating at the bottom. There's a gold plating at the bottom for charging. So when it comes to this design, it looks great, but I do kind of hate the form factor. Let's start from the beginning. When Apple released the first AirPods, they were looking great, but when I saw them and I used them, I couldn't bear the inferior audio quality. So I preferred wired earphones until I got wind of Samsung's Galaxy Buds, and that changed the game. It stays in your ears, it isolates you, and it has a better sound quality overall. Now fast forward to now with the Oraimo Freepods 3, where earbuds actually the norms now. And now with the Freepods 3, with the tail and then the silicone in ears, I thought it would be better than Apple's original AirPods, but then it really isn't. It's slightly worse, but then it's better in some aspects and it's also worse in some aspects. Okay, let's start with the fit of the Freepods. The Freepods, they fit well in my ear, but I have noticed that over time it starts to hurt, and I think that only happens with me and a few people looking at the success of the Freepods too. In your ears, they're basically the same. The in-ear design is actually just basically the same thing, but then with ear tips, but then the other does not have ear tips. Speaking of one bud without ear tips and the other with, Oraimo tried something unique with these buds, and I'll give them credit for trying, but then they didn't quite get it. These buds have two modes for two types of scenarios or two types of customers in this situation. There's base mode, and then there's awareness mode. Boom. Base mode happens when you put in the ear tips. It does amplify the sound and gives it a little bit more bass, also isolating it a bit more. This was intended for people like me, or might have been intended for people like me who prefer better audio quality and proper isolation, but they didn't quite get it yet. Well, yes, technically it boosts isolation and audio quality, but then there's not enough difference and it's not really noticeable, but it is still there. And then there is awareness mode, which just removes the isolation and bass completely. It's exactly like the Freepods 2. So the actual difference between these earphones, the Freepods 3 and then the Freepods 2, isn't that much, but then wait till the end of the video because there's more to it. Now back to the two modes, the bass and awareness mode. For bass mode, you can see here environments, but not as much as awareness mode. This mode is what you can use when you're in a calm place where you don't have to be at alert, so to say. But then awareness mode is what I would use when I'm outside or in a place where I'm having conversations on and off, where I like talk to somebody and then we'll stop talking for like a few seconds and then we'll have to talk again to like clarify something or do something. Basically, when I'm working, I use awareness mode. And then, like I mentioned it in the video, I used this awareness mode while I was driving. And it was actually quite good. I could hear everything around me. But I would not advise to use awareness mode because I wasn't using it at a very loud volume and I was also making phone calls. So I would advise against using awareness mode while listening to music because, as I know, people use high volume to listen to music, so this could reduce your ability to hear what is around you properly. So moving on, as for the audio quality, I have listened to a whole lot of songs with these buds on, and I would say it's alright with awareness mode, but it could be way better with bass mode if you wanted to compare this with actual in-ear buds. But maybe this is what you get when you try to be in both worlds, or when you try to get the best of both worlds, which actually can't, according to the saying. But anyways, when you try to be in both worlds, when you want to get immersive audio, which is what bass mode is trying to do, and then transparent listening, which is what awareness mode is trying to do. Awareness mode is actually really good, but I don't like this form factor at all. I hope this is better with this, but then this is actually the better version. But then this actually just gives, it gives people like what they're missing out on when they use this form factor. Basically, this is what it could be. It could be better. They're clearly showing that these buds could be better, but then they want to satisfy the public, so they went with this, and then they actually just put in this as a side piece. But then maybe this is Oraimo's way of giving people who like this form factor better audio quality. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Side note, I was hearing a weird noise when I was watching a movie. It was the type of sound you hear from an electric power station, like a low buzz in the right ear. I don't know if it's just me, but let me know down in the comments if you get these buzz, and then if you're hearing that, let me know if that's what you also hear down in the comment section below. Okay, these buds, they connect as soon as you open up the case, but then the Oraimo AirBuds 2S connect faster than these buds. I don't know why, but that is how it is. Okay, now the interesting stuff. Well, it's actually it's quite interesting. So now on the box, they advertise their environmental noise cancellation technology. Yes, and I was pumped to see what they were going to do with it and how it was going to actually be implemented in these buds. But then I would say I was somewhat disappointed when I firstly used them, because I did not know that you only experience you halfway experience the environmental noise cancellation when you're on a phone call. Okay, I will explain how I mean by halfway. But okay, let me just say halfway. You basically don't get to experience it. It's the other person that experiences it. Okay, so let me explain it. So what happens when you're on a call? The speakers go into full blast mode where they are extra loud, and I guess that's to overcome the environmental noise. But that is not environmental noise cancelling at all. That is not what it is at all. It just overcomes the environmental noise to allow you hear whoever is on the other side properly. Now, where environmental noise cancelling tech comes in is when what you're saying goes into the buds. So when you speak, these beamforming microphones select your voice and only your voice. Even when there's music playing in the background, it will not affect your caller. That was mind-blowing. And then the coolest part is that when you don't talk, the microphones go off. Like, there's no audio. I tested playing music on a different phone, and the person I was talking to couldn't hear it at all. And he could only hear a faint background noise when I spoke. And at this point, the music was playing right beside the buds. So for audio quality, I'll give this a 10 out of 10. This was amazing. Well done. To give more other examples, this is a microphone quality test of these buds, and you will see how well these buds sound when you're on a phone call. Okay, so this is the Freepods 3 by Oraimo, and the environmental noise cancellation technology works really, really well. I have made multiple phone calls with this, and I was driving at the time, but then the people I was on the phone with just assumed I was on my laptop doing something or maybe watching a movie. They could not even guess I was driving. I wasn't driving on a busy road, but I was using the horn and they still couldn't hear the horn. So I guess it's safe to say that the Oraimo Freepods 3 have an amazing call quality, especially, and it just sounds really, really good. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Before I did this video, I went to run some errands and I was driving, but I didn't really go far. The roads were not busy, so I tried to use these buds in awareness mode, and I was making phone calls. And at the end of every phone call, I would ask my friend, what do you think I'm doing? And basically most of them just said, I'm probably in my room just relaxing somewhere or just doing something, just chilling or watching a movie or playing game. They were surprised to hear that I was driving. And as I was driving, I was definitely using the horn because like just to test the environmental noise cancellation. And you are in Nigeria, you have to use your horn sometimes. Like, people, they can be I was using my horn and then they still couldn't hear the horn and I was talking. 10 out of 10 for that. The call quality is amazing. Now moving on to the controls. For the control system, you have to double tap to play or pause or to pick up a phone call. I would have preferred single tap, but then that's what we get. You tap and hold on the left earbud to go to the previous song, and then you tap and hold on the right one to go to the next song. You tap and hold also to reject a call, and then finally you triple tap for your voice assistant. For the battery life, these buds have amazing battery life for about 7 hours, which is actually great, and then it takes about 30 minutes to charge from 0 to 80%, which I would say is actually really good. Now moving on to the price. These buds cost about 16,000 naira, and at that price, I'd honestly say that it's a bit expensive, but then the supreme core quality actually kind of makes up for it. So if you can't wait for a sale, then you should try and get these buds. You should go ahead and get these buds, and basically that's it. Okay, now it's time for my verdict. Like for my verdict, the Oraimo buds did very well. They did very well with these buds. They shot many shots. I would not lie. They tried to do many things. And they did some things well, they did some things averagely well, and then they just messed up big time in some. They messed up big time I would say they messed up big time because I had my hopes up for these buds. I thought they would sound really good with the bass mode, but then, yeah, let's just say they're getting there. I hope with the Freepods 3, they get better with this. But then this was definitely not the failure. You should definitely buy these buds if you're in the market for buds right now. And if you make a lot of phone calls, I was oddly confident with these buds that anybody I called would hear me clearly, and everybody I called heard me clearly. So phone calls, 10 out of 10. Audio, I'll give it an 8 out of 10 for both awareness and bass mode. 8 out of 10. No, 6 for bass mode because it is far from what you would expect from in-ear earbuds. But then this is how it is. Let me know what you think about the buds down in the comment section below. Let me know whatever questions you have. I'll answer as soon as possible. Like, share, and subscribe. And also tell your friends to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Happy New Year. Peace.